Going into this movie, I knew that even if it was terrible, it would still have one of the greatest lines of the year in it, in Idris Elba saying, "I do not kill with my gun, I kill with my heart." I'm John Hayeck, and welcome to my movie thoughts. The Dark Tower. So I'm a big Stephen King fan. I love Carrie. I'm currently reading Salem's Lot. I think it's Salem's Lot and not Salem's Lot. That's a different video for a different time. I'm a big fan of the Shining movie. I've read a ton of his short stories. I've watched a ton of the big screen adaptations of his work in the past. And going to The Dark Tower, I wasn't really sure what to expect because I have not read the Dark Tower series. I figured if I liked the movie, then I would go back and try to read some of the books to kind of get more into the lore because, again, I'm a big King fan. I'm a big fan of the talent involved with this movie. And it sounded from the premise like it was going to be pretty cool. So the premise of the movie is, at the center of our universe, there is a single dark tower. It has all these worlds surrounding it, but if the tower falls, all the worlds that surround it will be completely just done with, and the evil forces from outside of the universe will come in and tear up anything that is left. So basically, if this tower falls, the universe crumbles as we know it. Matthew McConaughey plays the villain in this movie, the Man in Black, also named Walter. He's trying to get the tower to crumble. He wants to unleash that chaos, but Idris Elba plays Roland the Gunslinger, and he teams up with this young kid named Jake, and the two of them are on a quest to stop McConaughey, make sure that the universe stays intact, and the worlds they know that will stay safe. And that's basically the premise of this movie. It's actually not too hard to sum up. That's what goes on over the course of this thing. And I really liked the premise, the plot, the setup of this entire thing. It really felt like it was based on a series of epic books. Like it had that Lord of the Rings kind of flavor with the Stephen King twang thrown into it, where it feels like there's all these different tribes set up. There's kind of like a post-apocalyptic feel to it in the one world that they visit, but it also feels like it's an parallel dimension to Earth, so there's kind of a sci-fi element to it. I really liked all these kind of infinite possibilities set up in this Stephen King world. It definitely feels, plot-wise, like it was something original, something unique, and something that kind of takes some familiar elements that you've seen before, but puts a little bit of a spin on them and makes them something like new and engaging. And even though, again, The Dark Tower is decades old at this point, putting it on the big screen definitely does still feel like it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to watch and kind of get into the lore of it. The actors of this movie are also very good. I mentioned Tom Taylor. He plays Jake in the movie, the kid, who I'm guessing is around 11 or 12 years old. Really good performance from him. If he didn't work in the movie kind of wouldn't be the same. Idris Elba is the one you really need to sell his character of the gunslinger, and he works for the movie. Matthew McConaughey was good in the movie too as a villain. He's kind of an echo effect whenever he talks, which really sells him as being like this evil guy who's really getting under your skin and everything like that. And those aspects of the movie, the plot, the setup, and the acting really did work. The problem with the movie is that overall, as a whole, it just isn't structured all that well. The movie's only 95 minutes long, and when it's based on 8 books, an entire series that are beloved by fans over decades, you have a bit of a problem when the movie's only an hour and a half or so. The thing about this movie, and I'll tell you this, my friend who I saw it with described it best. He said, it fulfills all the requirements to make it a movie, but it doesn't really do anything more than that. It feels very, very paper thin. And I said to him, like, yeah, there's really no character, like, depth to it at all. You understand where Idris Elba's character as the gunslinger is coming from. You understand where Jake is coming from, the kid. But you don't really have tons of time to go into their backstories at the very beginning to show how they evolved to the places they were in for the meat of the movie, and then show them evolve by the end of the movie from those points too. You just kind of, like, are going rapid fire through these stages, and you understand what they're going through. The story flows fine enough, but by the time you get to the end, you're like, alright, I wish I had some more time to spend with these characters. Not in a way where it's like, oh, I wish the movie would never end, in a way that just leaves you feeling kind of unfulfilled and that the movie didn't accomplish what it should have in its runtime. The other problem is that the movie like completely blows through its first and second acts just to get to the third act, which is kind of like the action set piece of it. And those first 2 acts, again, the setup is really fascinating, stuff I really could have gotten into if it, again, added 20, 25, 30 minutes and explored some more of the territory out there, explored some of like who the creatures were, or like what some of the other tribes were in this world. It would have been very fascinating and made it more of a Lord of the Rings style epic instead of just kind of like a flimsy, kind of like thin type of movie. The world also had a few contradictions in it where like there's this whole funny thing where like Idris Elba like comes to Earth and he realizes like, oh, he's from this kind of post-apocalyptic, almost medieval like time period, but then he comes to Earth and he's like, oh, he doesn't know what a hospital is, oh, he doesn't know what a gun store looks like and all this type of stuff. But then he's like throwing propane tanks and everything like that, and he's like recognizing like what a few of the other modern things he sees are. You're like, alright, that kind of doesn't make sense. and the effects towards the end get a little bit shoddy too. You're like, they probably went over budget. You hear the reshoots for this movie kind of cost a lot, so maybe they didn't spend all that much money on it. So at the end of the day, guys, the premise was cool, the actors were pretty good in the movie, but overall, it doesn't feel like it has anything really beneath the surface to it. If this was a TV show on like HBO or Netflix, I feel like they really could have sunk their teeth into the material and gotten somewhere with it. Or even if this was a trilogy, if they spent the first movie kind of setting up some conflict, establishing the villain, establishing the heroes, and showing what the world was all about, and then moving into a second and third movie where they really establish the conflict and then solve it, showing that good triumphs over evil every time, that would have been awesome. But since there wasn't too much to really sink your teeth into, too much meat in the movie, I can't necessarily recommend you run out and see it, and it saddens me to say that because I actually was looking forward to this one. So I'm going to give The Dark Tower a C+. If it's on cable, maybe give it a watch. It could be some fun little throwaway entertainment for you. But guys, those are just my thoughts on The Dark Tower. Be sure to leave yours in the comment section down below. You guys can go over to Twitter and follow me. I am at John M. Hayeck, or subscribe to this YouTube channel, or go over to mymoviethoughts.com for tons more posts from me. Links, all three of those are in the description down below. You can also like this video, comment on it, share it with some friends. I am John Hayeck, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching.